I'm going to introduce myself in Ojibwe, which is my native language. Bouchard, Bejiko Gabo Nindago, Minowa Roger Mustache Jr, Indigenous cause. Makuninda Dame, Odawa Zagaganing, Nindunjaba. My name is Roger Mustache Jr. I use he, him, his pronouns. I'm an archaeology major and a linguistics minor here at UW-La Crosse. And I am LCO Ojibwe.
I am Mirm. I use they, them pronouns. My major is early to middle childhood education with a double minor in Chinese and TESOL. And I identify as, I'm biracial. My dad's white and my mom is from Samoa.
So, Sierra Denny is my name. PGP, she, her, hers. My major is sociology, my minor is criminal justice, and I identify as Native American, a part of the Oneida tribe.
My name is Madisyn Owens. I'm a finance major. I use she, her, hers pronouns. I'm a member of the Ho-Chunk tribe.
My name is Bouchard. I use he, him, his. I am a tribal member of the Red Cliff Band of Lake Spirit Chippewa Indians.
To this university in particular, it was a last-second resort, and it was like, that's one of my list, and it's the cheapest.
I also had family support of wasn't really any expectations that I would have to go to college. Most people, their parents tell them, you have to go to college, this and that. Mine, the family dynamic I grew up in wasn't they were forcing us to go to college against our will. It was you can go if you want, and I always knew that I wanted to go to college, so.
The only reason why I decided to go to the school was because of the MSOs, hoping that I could find other students of color on this campus.
FAFSA sucks, but I get a grant through the tribe, so they help fund school for me.
My journey to college was quite unique. I was enrolled in a pre-college program called the People Program, and that really kind of shaped who I am right now.
I attended my tribal community college, and so it wasn't that hard to fill out the application form, get accepted, and all that stuff. It was pretty easy to do all that, and the instructors there, advisors, everything were even more helpful with figuring things out. To me, it felt like it was a pretty easy journey to start college.
I never really learned about my native history. Everything I know about the Ho-Chunk tribe is from my family, my dad, my aunts and uncles.
I actually attended tribal school for pre-K through first grade.
What we learned in school was pretty much just the textbook things, the big battles and wars and history and stuff, and I don't know, it felt like Native American culture was always just kind of something that was brushed on, we never went into depth.
So there I learned the language, learned music, art, whatever. We used to go out and fall and collect sap from trees to make syrup.
My school did a pretty good job of implementing Act 31, which requires Native American education in school, in public schools.
I didn't, ever. I often tell the story of when I was younger, when I was in elementary school, from 2nd grade up to about 4th grade, 5th grade, and my teachers would, we would go through everything that we're going to go over for the whole year, and I'd be like, can we learn about Samoa this year? And then they would tell me that they never had time to do that.
Taking this class is called Shawinigan-based Studies, which focuses on the Red Cliff Band and the Bad River Band of Ojibwe tribes, which are in the vicinity of my school.
I remember learning about Columbus, not how you learn about it in public schools, but he was bad, I was in first grade, so we didn't learn all the details, but I just knew he wasn't someone to celebrate. Then I went to public school, and I was really confused as to why, because I'm pretty sure we got cupcakes for Columbus Day, and it was this big celebration, and I was like, Mom, I'm confused, what's going on? like 3rd grade, we had to build like wigwams and teepees and longhouses, and I was like, this seems kind of weird, but okay, I guess.
I was concerned that it wasn't required, I guess. So a lot of people didn't really know about it, but they did a really good job of talking about basic Native American education, treaty rights.
That was hard here.
Did it get better in college?
No, because I still don't learn anything here.
So in high school, it was a combination of our culture classes, our Ojibwe language classes, because I went to a tribal school on my reservation, and so part of it was geared towards trying to get us to learn our own culture, language, and stuff like that.
I often look up articles and stuff that are based in Samoa, but I don't get like scholarly articles. Like I think I've gone into Murphy and typed in Samoa, and there's not even one article about Samoa in there. So like that's super disheartening for me. And to be one of 2 Samoans on this campus is also like, and there's none of us. There's me and there's someone else, and we're probably cousins, as I found out last night. So that's fun.
And then while I attended my tribal community college, we had an intro to tribal history class where we did go over some things, a little bit about treaties, different things like that. But when I look back on it all, I feel like I didn't learn enough, either because we didn't have enough time to cover everything, or just what the books were able to, that we were using, were able to hold.
I just like, I don't know. We never learned about the local tribes here, like the Ho-Chunk. Like, there's so many times where I like tell someone I'm Ho-Chunk, they would respond with, wait, that's a tribe, not just a casino?
I know that Native American education is American history, and I think that it should be implemented in all schools because these are the people that were here before everybody else, and I think that people need to know about them because the Native American population used to be 100% on this land, and now it's 1%. And I feel like a lot of people don't take that into account, that this was Native American land, and now we're the lowest population in the nation.
I'm obviously passing, so I don't really feel it as much as others do. Like, my great-grandma was in the boarding schools. She never really talked about it, so I don't have like that trauma, because obviously they don't talk about it, so it's not really passed on, I feel like, for me.
I feel like all the white students definitely learn about their like history and stuff way more than I learned about mine.
I went to public school for the first few years, I think from preschool up to 1st grade, and during that time I never learned anything about Native Americans at all, even though Act 31 was already implemented at that time. That was around 2002 to 2004, so like it was still in its early stages, but it was still a law that was passed where I was supposed to be learning about that. Then afterwards I went into private school, and that's a whole different thing and a whole different beast to tackle, and so we were learning about white men back in the day who were they're just going through so much, and so we never really learned about that. And then obviously we learned about Pocahontas and Sacagawea from their perspective and not from what actually happened historically.
So for me, I feel like I'm missing out on a big, huge part of my heritage because school focuses more on what will help you like in a white man's life and getting a job and stuff like that, but there was nothing to help with like learning different practices that we believe in, different ceremonies and stuff like that, even though like there were some things that I have learned in high school and in my previous college, but it still doesn't feel like it was enough to truly understand where I came from.
We seem to learn like only about when Native Americans affect the white people through history.
No.
I don't ever feel recognized on this campus because there's not a South Pacific Islander professor. There's not a course that teaches on the South Pacific.
It's a yes and no answer for me. To answer the yes, some of the friends I have here are very supportive when I tell them that I am Native American, and they can understand that yes, bad things have happened to Native peoples, and so they recognize that. They know how hard that can be for someone.
It took so long to pass a statement recognizing that the school was on Ho-Chunk land.
I feel supported on this campus, yes, from my advisors and from the MSOs and seeds and other things that I put myself in, just going to MSOs and making connections with people at ATP and other stuff like that.
I would say, coming from NASA, I would say NASA doesn't get much recognition because the Native American population is so small.
Being in NASA, that's a really good support. I came to this campus to be closer to my tribe and stuff. So being in NASA and seeing the little plaques everywhere on campus, and yeah, it's just, I don't know. Definitely feel more recognized than I did back at home.
History, I think 200, my professor was like, oh, we're gonna talk about Samo when we talk about influenza. And I was like, okay, is that it? Is that all you're gonna talk about?
Because I didn't know about it until I came to OMSS. And a coworker recommended the student org to me. So I would say we're supported by the other student orgs, but I would say around campus that a lot of people probably don't know about us.
I know there are still some people who are ignorant to Native culture, Native beliefs, and the struggles that we have. Just people who, just to give an example, would be oh, that happened a long time ago, why can't you forget about it? Just people who have that viewpoint in mind.
This land was the land of Ho-Chunk people, but yet you're supporting flags from overseas, which is, that's not bad either, but why can't you show a Ho-Chunk flag?
I think it just needs to start with recruitment, maybe. Making sure Native students know that college is an option for them and getting more of them here in the first place.
I feel the number one thing is you just have to keep pushing them to go, because their dropout rate is so high and so many people don't even go to school. So if they even attempt to apply, I feel that is a big step, and they should, if you're not going to accept them, you should at least help them find somewhere that will accept them, because obviously they're showing that initiative that they want to go. But I feel that's the most important, is just encouraging them and staying on them to continue and graduate, because that's big.
One thing that I often think about is the ceremonies that they partake in, and how important it is that their family is close to them. So working with the Native youth in La Crosse and working with NASA, I find that so many Native students go home very often, and it's looked down upon, and people are why are you going home all the time? Where in Indigenous cultures especially, the collective is something that's embraced and is taught throughout. It's not just the individual, it's everyone else who's supported you and who's raised you. And with the ceremonies, it's that's your culture, and you should be a part of that, and you should have the opportunity to miss a couple days of school just to go home and to experience that and to be who you are and to be with people that you are comfortable with.
I also think being culturally sensitive to smudging and intergenerational trauma, all of that stuff, they need to be aware of that.
Scholarships help us stay in school, because I know for a lot of Native American people and some of my friends that I have back at home, they're not in college because they don't have the financial means to go to school. And I know that there's more scholarships out there, especially geared for Native American students. It would help them quite a lot if they had that out there as a resource for them.
To understand Native Americans more, they need to understand the history of them and the trauma that their families have experienced to truly understand why Native Americans are struggle or are the way they are.
It was a huge shock for me coming here and realizing there's really not a lot of people like me here. Native Americans are so underrepresented in secondary education. It's kind of ridiculous. That was a big wake-up call for me.